Hit me.
From Studio A in Arcata, behind the redwood curtain, it's time for...
Succotash.
Yes, Succotash, the comedy soundcast featuring snippets from comedy.
Soundcasts.
And also interviews with comedians, comedian soundcasters, and other showbiz folk. And now, here's this episode's host from up the coast, the man who puts the X in Xbox and the tie on antisocial, comedy soundcaster, Tyson Saner.
Saner.
Thank you, Bill Haywatt. Saluton estes me, Tyson Saner, and you are listening to Succotash. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you'll find something to enjoy in the soundcast you are about to listen to. If you have listened to Succotash before, welcome back. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with us again. If the time you listened before was last week's episode, Show 324, called Debate, Argument, Brits, and Smut, hosted by show creator and executive producer Mark Hershon, then you know why you're not hearing him in this episode. Incidentally, in that episode, you heard the clips he selected from the soundcasts If I Were You, The Legal Geeks, Off Menu, and Pornominy. And you can still find that episode in the archive at www.succotash.show if you would like to hear it again. We've been alternating the hosting duties pretty consistently for the last 2.5 years of our 11 plus years of this show, so that is why this week's episode, 325, is hosted by me, Tyson Saner. And in this episode, I've got clips from the soundcasts Word in Your Ear, Going Deep from Earwolf Presents, and Bubble. I've almost certainly got another classic advertisement from our 100% fake sponsor. Well, I did say advertisement. I gotta go back. I've almost certainly got another classic advertisement from our 100% fake sponsor, Henderson's Pants, for you later in the program. And I'd really like to get right into the presentation of the clips if it's all the same to you, so without further delay... First up, Word in Your Ear, Mark Ellen, David Hepworth, and Alex Gold. Its description says, Mark Ellen and David Hepworth have been talking about and writing about music together and individually for a collective 80 years in magazines like Smash Hits, Mojo, and The Word, and on radio and TV programs like Rock On, Whistle Test, and VH1. Over 13 years ago, when working on the late magazine The Word, they began producing podcasts. Some listeners have been kind enough to say these have been very special to them. When the magazine folded in 2012, they kept the spirit of those podcasts alive in regular Word in Your Ear evenings in which they spoke to musicians and authors in front of an audience. Over these years, they produced hundreds of hours of material. As of the current unpleasantness of 2020, they've produced yet hundreds of hours more, with a little help from guests kind enough to digitally show them around their attics, such as Danny Baker, Andy Partridge, Sir Tim Rice, and Mark Lewison. Clip I've selected is from an episode from September 27th, 2022. It's basically a list of topics discussed on the soundcast. It goes as follows: Hilary Mantel, Zappa track or ad slogan, and the day Beefheart sold Aldous Huxley a vacuum cleaner. And then the episode description says, In powerful pursuit of amusement and distraction, we aim the piercing super trooper of scrutiny this week in the direction of Why Ry Cooder Must Write a Memoir. Records that sound like nothing you'd ever heard before. For example, The Message by Grandmaster Flash and Donna Summer's I Feel Love. Nighttime footage of the state funeral rehearsal. Why Deli Crime on TV makes the Wire's Baltimore look like Stoke Poaches. Dinner with the, quote, fantastically indiscreet, unquote, Tony King. Why Hilary Mantel was such a phenomenal writer, and an extract that demonstrates it. The return of the Stack-Whitey game, James Brown / Frank Zappa track or advertising slogan. Beefheart, selling Aldous Huxley a vacuum cleaner. Plus, birthday patron Ed Newman beams in from his shift at the Glasgow Royal Infirmary with thoughts about Ravel's Bolero, Dylan and Beatles podcasts, and an inspired music book idea with a medical twist that someone must publish. Here's a clip from a bit of fun near the beginning of the program, followed by a bit of seriousness, and some thoughts on how commentary and narrative are intertwined. Is how I interpret what I'm hearing.
So here we go, a Stack-Whitey game. I've got a Stack-Whitey game for you, Mark. I'm going to spring this on you. And what you've got to tell me is, are the following, are they saucy advertising slogans or James Brown songs? Okay?
Very good.
Saucy advertising slogans or James Brown songs. So one of these is James Brown's song. Okay, the rest are saucy advertising slogans. The first one is, you might want to write these down, and people at home might like to play along. Get a pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Call your nearest
and a large, relaxing drink
into the room and say, let's try this. Are these saucy advertising slogans, or are they James Brown songs? Okay, the first one. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Next one. Is it in you? Is it in you? Next one. It's so big you've got to grin to get it in.
Oh, dear.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Good. The next one. Good to the last drop. Good to the last drop.
Yeah.
The next one. For goodness sakes, look at those cakes. For goodness sakes, look at those cakes. And finally, when it fits, you feel it. Okay, I'm going to run them down again. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Is it in you? It's so big you've got to grin to get it in. Good to the last drop. For goodness sakes, look at those cakes. And finally, when it fits, you feel it. You, Mark Allen, have to tell me which of those is not a saucy advertising slogan, but is actually a James Brown song.
I've got a terrible feeling that I know the answer. And that's because I think I know the advertising slogan, and I think I know some of the James Brown songs. I think it's the advertising slogan I recognise. When it fits, you feel it, is a James Brown song.
No, you'd be wrong.
No! No!
That is an advertisement slogan used by the American retailer J.C. Penney.
No, so I got it right because there's only one. There's only one advertising. So I got it wrong first time.
No. There's only one that's a James Brown song. That's what I told you. Anyway.
Oh! I've got it the wrong way around. Okay, fine. Okay,
right.
When it fits, you feel it. Okay.
So which of those is
good
James
to the last
Brown?
drop is an advertising slogan.
It's Maxwell House Coffee.
It is. It is. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. That's an advertising slogan.
It is. It's Timex watch.
Timex watches, yeah. It's so big. It's so big you grin to get it up? What's that?
You've got to grin to get it in.
The grin to get it in. So big, the grin to get it in. That's an advertising slogan.
It is. It's the wagon wheel. It's wagon wheels.
That's so brilliant. Oh, my Lord. For goodness sakes, look at those cakes. That's got to be an advertising slogan. It just has to be, doesn't it?
Well, you're wrong.
No.
That's the James Brown song. For goodness sakes, look at those
Look
cakes.
at those cakes. That is fantastic.
So, is it in you? Is
You go on.
Gatorade. It's so big you've got to grin to get it in. Whereas advertising wagon wheels. And as we said, Maxwell House Coffee. But for goodness sakes, look at those cakes.
That's really good.
It's a James Brown tune.
Well, I stumbled at the first. That's absolutely brilliant.
I've got another one for next week.
Well done.
I'll hold it over.
Well done. That's really good.
So, I'm not being deliberately controversial when I say that there's no doubt that the entertainment event of the week was. I'm not seeking to shock anybody. Was the funeral of the Queen.
Completely gripping.
Because regardless of what you think of the significance of the institution or whatever, it was the most extraordinary piece of high-wire theatre I've ever seen in my life. I watched the whole thing, and can I just say, I took the key decision, which I think is going to guide all my TV viewing in future, which is when I turned on the BBC iPlayer, I was on my own at home, turned on the BBC iPlayer, the first thing it offered me was the option of commentary or no commentary. And so I clicked no commentary. God, was I glad I did that.
No, that's really interesting. I watched the BBC one, and again, the whole...
This was the BBC, but it was without
commentary. I mean, the commentary was quite spare, and they didn't try and engineer it in any way to try and make you feel a certain way. It was just fact. It was kind of, that's who that president is, and that's who that famous person is. And that was quite interesting. But I know what you mean, because we get so tired of being told how we should respond emotionally.
And this is not just state occasions. The same thing applies to football. Same thing applies to absolutely anything that you watch where they're covering a kind of live event. They're trying to shape the narrative all the time rather than just letting you decide about the narrative yourself. So I watched the whole thing, and occasionally consulting the BBC website where they would have an order of service, so I'd know what was going to come next. And you knew what order they were processing and that kind of thing. So that was a useful background.
So you can reach out to the show on Twitter at WIYE London, that is capital W, capital I, capital Y, capital E, lowercase LONDON. Mark Ellen can be reached on Twitter at Mark Ellen, styled as capital MARK, capital E, and then 2 numeral 1s next to each other instead of L's, so 1, lowercase e and n. David Hepworth can be found at all lowercase DAVID HEPWORTH. And I could not find social media information for Alex Gold. For the full span of the Word in Your Ear world, you can visit the podcast WIYELondon.com. That is WIYELONDON.com. Next up, Going Deep from Earwolf Presents. So this one is listed as Going Deep, Culture Shock Catharsis with Nick Weiger and Heather Ann Campbell. I'll try to explain why later, but I will say the show's description says, "Welcome to the office of America's, quote, most acclaimed couples therapist, unquote, Diana Deep, played by Lily Sullivan. Listen and learn as she counsels couples using her infamous hands-on approach to help husbands, wives, lovers, thruples, first daters, booty calls, and on-again, off-again sexters. This improv comedy podcast parodies couples therapy in ways that will make you laugh, cry, and go, quote, deep, unquote, into your own relationships." Oh, and the episode description says, this week, Dr. Deep, Lily Sullivan, speaks with Helga, Heather Ann Campbell, and Guy, Nick Weiger, about their disagreement over Helga's 5th oven purchase. Dr. Deep leads this session down the proverbial, quote, trail of breadcrumbs, unquote, to reveal the lies at the core of their marriage. This episode and other episodes are in the Earwolf Presents listings at this time, but are originally in the Stitcher exclusive category. The clip is from an episode that was recently made available through the aforementioned Earwolf Presents feed and was originally posted, or I guess available, on March 28th, 2021. I will let the clip speak for itself.
Though at first, Helga was rightfully irritated to see an annoying Birkenstock-wearing American backpacker at her door, and Guy was surprised when Helga asked him to climb into a gigantic pie tin, soon these two couldn't keep their hands off each other. They were each thrilled by the other's otherness. This makes me wonder what their sex life is like now that their cultural differences are no longer exciting.
So, how's the sex now?
I mean, it's, kind of fallen off a cliff, I guess. Kind of non-existent.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time gathering during the day, and I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired at the end of the day. I don't want to... I don't want to find myself in one of those relationships where you're just doing what the other person needs. I have needs too, and sometimes that need is to sleep.
So... just to get a picture of what usually happens is, Guy, you come home, you're tired from your day of business, from organizing your files. And Helga, she's been working away in the kitchen, cooking up a storm or gathering, said?
Yes, yeah.
And so, do you guys embrace when you walk in the door, Guy? Do you ask him any questions, Helga? What does that look like? I actually, you know what? I want you to show me. I want you to pretend like, Guy, you've just come home, and I want to see what that looks like.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to just pretend I'm in the kitchen doing what I would normally do when he comes home?
Is this a cultural difference why you're not getting it?
Wait, no, I want to make sure that I understand in this game of pretend.
Yes.
I'm just doing what I do.
You are wherever you would normally be.
Okay.
When he comes home.
Okay. So, I'm in the kitchen sorting bat wings and, I've got some rabbit's feet. What's going to be in the soup tonight? String of mistletoe. Hang it over the door. In case
can we pause for a second? I'm sorry, I don't want to disrupt the exercise, but this is a big issue, is that like I'm trying to come in the front door and I can't really find an opening. Like she's got this big long song about all the tasks she's doing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I feel like I'm interrupting just to come in and say like, "Hi, honey, I'm home."
I can see that. She doesn't leave a lot of space.
Yeah.
I really don't want to be the bad guy in this. I just want to be clear. My joy should not be a barrier for your literal entry into our relationship.
Okay. You know what? I'll be less, I guess this is part of the exercise. I'll be less tentative. I'll just sort of.
I think why don't we try this? When you come in and you're singing your song, it looks like you sing your song about all the things that you've gathered that day. Is that what I was catching?
Yeah. So, I like to sing a recipe. The notes will carry on the wind, and if somebody finds it appetizing, they might come hither this way. It's not, it's like when you read about a menu online, and you're like, oh, I might go to that restaurant.
Do you sell the food, or
sell? I make exchanges.
So this is another source of tension in our marriage, is that I work in the field of business.
Yeah,
and Helga does not seem to understand capitalism. Like
she's not exactly bringing in the bacon.
That's a one way to put it. Yeah. She, the idea of a, medium of exchange, just basic concepts like currency, commerce are kind of lost on her.
Well, in some cultures, they don't use money. They use
you exchange services. For example,
you might
trade a bowl of soup for your future daughter.
Huh. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Hungry. You look so hungry. I'll take your first bowl. This is an example. Not I haven't made this exchange.
Oh, good. Right. Okay, because I was gonna say let's get back to the exercise. So when you come in and Helga's singing her song. Guy, I think you should join her in the song. I think, why not sing about your day? And maybe Helga can make some room for you.
Oh, I would love that. That sounds nice.
Okay, let's try that out.
Would you knock when you're at the door?
Okay, I'll knock.
Okay. Well, eye of Newton, snake, lizard's tail. Stay under the floorboards and don't make noise. Don't make noise. Stop making noise. Stop making noise. Honey, is it you?
Knock, knock.
Okay, yes, hi. Hi. Hello.
Home from work, did the reports, went to a meeting, saw my boss, used the restroom, had a snack, taking off my shoes, sitting on the couch.
Okay, I'm going to stop you just for a second.
Uh-huh.
Guy, I didn't notice it up until this point, but something about you is incredibly boring.
I don't know that you can find the show on Twitter, but you can find Earwolf on Twitter at all lowercase EARWOLF. Lily Sullivan can be reached on Twitter at capital LILY, capital YILY. That looks like Lily Yilly. Heather Ann Campbell can be reached at Heather Campbell, all lowercase HEATHER, CAMPBELL. And Nick Weiger can be reached also at all lowercase NICKWIGER. So if you like what you heard and would like to hear more, there are a few other episodes that are available for free. But if you want access to what I presume is all of the show's episodes, then you will need access to Stitcher Premium. I do not have Stitcher Premium, so I would most likely not have heard the content exclusively made for it had some of it not been posted elsewhere or made available. And oddly, as of October 5th, 2022, the website www.earwolf.com was not working, but it might be now, so check it out. And you can also find the show, I guess, on Stitcher Premium or the episodes that are available to listen to at www.stitcher.com/going-deep. That is GOING-DEEP.
Friends, if the high cost of air travel is getting you down, then the all-new Henderson's Flying Jodhpurs should have you as high as the proverbial kite. While these sharp new business casual pants can't actually imbue you with the power of flight, slipping them on is practically the next best thing to getting there, wherever there happens to be. Never again be hassled by a jumbo-sized seatmate or a perfumed matron stinking up your space, or suffer seats that are crammed so close together that they make a body bag look roomy. With Henderson's Flying Jodhpurs, you get to put the world on hold. And by hold, I mean that's where you'll be flying from now on, in the cargo hold. Our patented flyers are specially designed to make air transport superbly comfortable, whether you're in a pet carrier, cardboard box, or wooden crate. With plenty of extra padding, it's like having your own first-class seat. Henderson's custom-fitted flank tanks hold enough breathable oxygen for you to survive a flight from Shanghai to Timbuktu. With the extendable bib and hood lined with 100% genuine alpaca, you'll stay toasty warm no matter how high you happen to fly. And speaking of high, unlike makers of inferior brands of aviation breeches, Henderson's Flying Jodhpurs come with a built-in altimeter, so not only will you be alerted when your air supply starts to run thin, but you'll also know when you've made it into Henderson's exclusive Mile High Club. While most reputable air carriers prohibit passengers from flying in the cargo hold, Henderson's has worked out agreements with the remaining disreputable airlines to welcome aboard anyone sporting a pair of Henderson's Flying Jodhpurs. Originally designed for Amelia Earhart, the Wingwalkers Club of Altoona, Ohio, and Area 51, Henderson's Flying Jodhpurs are available wherever Army and Navy surplus goods are sold. That's Henderson's, makers of fine slacks and loincloths since 1903. And now, back to Succotash.
Thank you, Bill Haywad. Finally tonight, Bubble from MaximumFun.org. Its show description says, "Welcome to Fairhaven, a literal bubble of corporate utopia set amid the wild goblin-infested brush. First scripted comedy series from Maximum Fun, Bubble was created by Jordan Morris and tells the tale of a small band of monster killers struggling to make ends meet and find love in a nightmarish version of the gig economy." Starring Allison Becker from Parks and Recreation, Keith Powell from 30 Rock, Cristela Alonzo from Cristela, Eliza Skinner from The Late Late Show, and Mike Mitchell from Love. With appearances by Judy Greer, John Hodgman, Martin Starr, Paul F. Tompkins, and many, many more. Clip I've selected is from the first episode. It's episode 1 called Hunters. Hunters is styled as Huntrs, and it's from June 13th, 2018. As this is a narrative-driven radio theater-style podcast, I have chosen to clip the very beginning of the first episode. That episode description says, Morgan, who is good at killing monsters, gets a new gig and a new partner.
This is all happening now, but it's happening someplace else. In a public park at the crack of dawn, Morgan Kay is out for her daily run. She's wearing a tattered t-shirt, hideous Dayglow fanny pack, and a look that says, "Hey, maybe don't try and talk to me while I'm jogging, okay?" She pops in earbuds and begins to run across her picturesque urban paradise underneath a beautiful blue sky. Guys with huge lumberjack beards and women dressed like 80s breakdancers all brunch and vape and walk shelter dogs and have too loud conversations like this.
This new cleanse is super bomb. I can eat anything I want to between 1:40 and 1:55 a.m. The rest of the day I just inhale a series of steams.
I'm just so much more present since I deleted Twitter and Facebook from my phone. It's given me more time to just exist, you know?
You guys, documentaries. I cannot get enough freaking documentaries right now. Have you seen the one about food?
Activated charcoal is actually like the best.
Morgan turns a corner and is flanked by another jogger.
Hey, nice fanny pack. Did you know that fanny is actually what British people call the lady privates?
This is Chad, a man who clearly just read a how-to on a pickup artist subreddit titled How to Talk to a Woman Who is Wearing Headphones. Going to wager a guess and say he's also super into Bitcoin, too.
Sorry, can't hear you. I have earbuds in.
Oh, we'll just take them out.
These actually don't come out. It's inconvenient, but the plus side is that I don't have to hear strangers' terrible vagina jokes.
Hey, wait up! I was just thinking it'd be fun to talk while we were jogging.
Before Chad can finish his sentence, a reptilian monster erupts out of nowhere and latches onto his face. It's about the size of a monkey and has long, bat-like wings.
Oh, this'll be fun.
Morgan tears open her fanny pack and produces a dagger made of bone. She shoulder checks the creature off of the jogger, then dodges its teeth, claws, and tail, getting in a shank with her dagger after every dodge. She catches it under the chin and it slumps over, dead.
Hey, I want to say thank you. And, you should really let me take your hot monster-killing butt to brunch, because I know this really great little place that's not a total scene on the weekends.
Sorry, I had a power bar before I left the house. Oh, wait, I knocked you out. Oh, whatever.
She lies on her back and looks at the sky. A billboard reads, "Welcome to Fairhaven." The sky flickers and flashes. It's being projected on a giant screen. Through the defective panel, Morgan can see the dark red sky outside her perfect bubble. The defective screen flashes back on. Blue sky again. Bubble. Episode 1. Hunters. Written by Jordan Morris. Later, in Morgan's bathroom, the creature is strung up over the tub. She's skinning it and letting its orangish blood drip into a bucket. Her roommate, Annie, lazily watches while eating a breakfast burrito. Annie is the kind of person who is used to waking up in piles of things. Laundry, people, whatever.
Thanks for getting this. I didn't think you were going to.
No sweat. I mean, what kind of roommate would I be if I didn't provide you the grease you need to destroy your hangover?
It's doing that thing where the cheese is all in one big deposit. It should be spread out more over the length of the burrito, but that's not your fault.
Yeah, well, I could have mentioned it to them to make sure to distribute the cheese.
Yeah, I guess you could have. Hey, make sure to clean the tub. I might actually need to shower today.
Oh, don't give me that. You've been wearing the same pair of track pants since Tuesday? I mean, they still have the size sticker on the leg.
Yeah, I do. Well, still, I was thinking today might be the day.
Okay, I'll clean the bathroom. You find some of your junkies and pawn this off on them.
Okay, first of all, don't call my customers junkies. They're simple scumbags. Second, this stuff needs to undergo sophisticated processing before it can get those scumbags properly fucked up without killing them.
My apologies to the scumbag community.
And
to you, my brilliant hustle genius of a roommate, the best thing I ever got off Craigslist.
Oh, shucks. I know that death struggles are easier for you than feelings, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still alive! Kill it! I don't have any weapons! Get it with the shower head! Shit. My burrito got some gunk on it.
Don't eat it.
I wasn't going to.
I don't believe you.
It features original music by Annie Hart and Jonathan Colton. And it says it was written and created by Jordan Morris. Now you can reach out to Jordan Morris on Twitter at JordanMorris. There is also Jordan Morris, spelled the same, .net. And the podcast is listed at MaximumFun.org/podcasts/bubble/. And that's all I have for you in this episode. I do hope you found something that you enjoyed, or at least found to be interesting enough to experience again. I've already got ideas for what I will clip for the next episode I bring you, but that isn't for a couple of weeks in my lifetime, so why even bring it up? Maybe it's the holiday season that is rapidly approaching. Encroaching, whatever you prefer. I think about time a lot lately. That is to say, I consider how it can pass without notice sometimes. And every now and then something notable occurs, which makes me stop and consider how fast life really seems to be happening. My parents just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary with my brother and I and our spouses, and that too was over in an eye blink. Now I am here writing about it, and in a moment I will be done writing about it, and soon I will read these words into a microphone, edit all the audio together, and create a presentation that you will experience in more or less a half hour of your life. So, thank you for spending that time listening to us. I recently added a few new links to my content over at www.tysonsaner.com, including my TikTok and my new Redbubble store. I might as well mention that because you're already here and listening, so I'd be a fool not to make the best of that opportunity. Thank you for listening. Be decent to each other. Check this feed next week for show 326, hosted by Mark Hershon. And if you think we're good enough to share with other people, then we would be forever grateful to you if you were to pass the Succotash.
You've been listening to Succotash, the comedy soundcast, with your host, Tyson Saner. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Rate us and review us at Apple and Google Podcasts. Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube,
on SoundCloud,
and wherever fine soundcasts are streamed and or downloaded. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Succotash Show. Like us on Facebook. Email us at tyson@succotashshow.com or call into the Succotash Skype line at our toll call number 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/succotash. Succotash is produced and engineered by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, the home of the hit. Our hosts are Mark Hershon and Tyson Saner. Our musical director is
Scott Carvey.
Our booth assistant is
Kenny Durges.
Succotash is executive produced by Mark Hershon. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye. This has been a Succotash Patch production.